New senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, good to see you.
Good morning.
So what do you think about that? I mean, she has said, look, I'll talk to whoever wants to talk to me.
Well, she's also said she's looking forward to speaking to the FBI, which, of course, is a farce. No one, when they're the subject of a criminal investigation by the FBI, is looking forward to talking to them.
I'm really looking forward to that.
She's in a damned if she does and damned if she doesn't mode. If she does go in, they will trip her up because she's made so many deceptive and materially misleading statements to the public, to the Benghazi committee, which are basically dog whistles to the FBI because they're aware of everything she says. And if she doesn't go in, which is the prudent legal advice,
don't go in.
The prudent legal advice is for lawyers not to let their clients, when they're the subject of a criminal investigation, speak to the people that are investigating them. If she doesn't go in and follows the prudent legal advice, it's treacherous politically because of statements like that where she said, I'm willing to talk to anybody.
Well, we know that the FBI does not complete an investigation without speaking to the subject. Well, so that interview is coming.
Without asking the subject in. She, of course, can say no. The FBI does not have the ability to compel you to come in and testify against
But that would probably leak if she said, no, I'm not coming in.
With some reason to delay, to put it off until after the election. Can that happen?
No. I mean, she can't delay it. The FBI, here's how it will work. The FBI will say to her lawyer, we have a lot of information we're planning to present to a grand jury, and much of it is about your client. Is your client interested in coming in and discussing it with us? If so, she has this window, 4 or 5 days, for you and her to come in and talk to us. We're not going to tell you what it is ahead of time, which is another problem she has. She doesn't know what they're going to ask her. But we'll make ourselves available to talk to her. They will do that after they speak with her aides.
Which they're doing now.
They are probably doing that this week.
Right. But Judge, you know, believe it or not, I couldn't believe when I read this that this is actually around the year anniversary that this scandal first broke. A year to me seems like quite a long time for the FBI to do this investigation, considering it's so politically important and relevant to this election. Does this seem out of the normal bounds of an investigation to you?
No, it doesn't, for a couple of reasons. One, there was a lot of technical obstacles in retrieving what Mrs. Clinton thought she had erased from the server. And second, I mean, she is the former Secretary of State, former senator from New York, wife of a former president, leading person to become the Democratic nominee. They want to make sure all their T's are crossed and I's are dotted. There's a huge FBI team working on this, and Director Comey himself is getting daily reports, which is very unusual because he's got so much on his plate, daily reports of the progress of the investigation.
So let's just say, for sake of argument, that say she's not indicted. What actually happens to future secretaries of state and future people? What is the outcome in all of this? Because it seems like if she doesn't get indicted, there's got to be some sort of implications for how people operate in the future. Or does everybody who's elected, are they just above the law?
But there were rules on how to operate in the future.
Well, there not only were rules.
Not to have a server in your basement.
There are federal statutes. I mean, the most serious thing she appears to have done, just from the public record now, obviously not knowing what the FBI knows, is the failure to safeguard state secrets. That's called espionage. And that is a crime that can be proven not only by intent, and we have evidence of intent. There's an email in which she tells one of her underlings, erase the secret marking and fax it to me using a regular fax machine. No one will know it was secret and I have to read it. But the crime can also be proven by gross negligence. Moreover, on her first day in office, she had a 2-hour FBI tutorial, at the end of which she signed under oath a statement setting forth what she was told in that tutorial, among which are the following. You are obliged to recognize a state secret when you see one, whether it's marked confidential secret, top secret, or not. And your negligence can form the basis for an espionage prosecution. So she agreed to all of that under oath.
So she knew. Let me ask you about
why would she turn around and have done this, having been through that review? What was at stake for her that she would have done?
Do you know?
She doesn't want people reading her emails. Bottom line.
You really are.
That's pretty obvious. She doesn't want the public to have access.
The very week that she had that tutorial is when she hired this fellow, Brian Pagliano, and paid him $5,000 to commit a crime, to migrate a public and a secret State Department stream from government computers to her own server. And she did not tell the FBI folks who gave her the tutorial that she was planning to do this.
So was she just getting her ducks in a row so she knew exactly where the line was before she went right up next to it?
In my view, and I'm saying this at the risk of trying to get into her head, in my view, she wanted to avoid the scrutiny of the president the public, the press, and much of the State Department outside of her inner circle about what she planned to do, like destabilize Libya.
I mean, there's no other conclusion to come to other than that.
Yeah.
Because she keeps saying, look, others have had Gmail accounts and private emails. Yes, of course. But no one else has ever had a server in their basement.
Well, remember, while the
so
FBI...
there's no other conclusion to come to other than what you just said.
Correct.
She just didn't want people reading her emails.
Secretary Condoleezza Rice, General Colin Powell occasionally use their Gmail accounts. That is a far cry from diverting everything, 100% of your government emails to your own server.
That's right.
But while this is going on, there's 2 lawsuits against her, and 2 federal judges have come to the same conclusion. It is more likely than not that there was a conspiracy in the Office of the Secretary of State to evade federal law.
I wanted to ask you about the Panama Papers, obviously major leak, but we don't have a lot of time left. But were you surprised at that there's this offshore accounting firm?
I was surprised at the enormity of it. Remember, it's not criminal, certainly not criminal under American law, but hugely embarrassing to the politicians, and you guys know better than I, probably the banks that have been involved.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the banks and the impact there coming up in the program. Judge, good to see you always.
Likewise.
Thanks so much, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Still to come.